గుడ్ ఆఫ్టర్నూన్. ఇవాళ టీసాట్కి వెల్కమ్ అండి. నా పేరు మహేంద్ర. ఇవాళ మనం బిజినెస్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ కోర్స్ గురించి డీటెయిల్స్ తెలుసుకుందాం. గురుకుల విద్యాలయ పోస్టులలో బిజినెస్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ కోర్స్ డీటెయిల్స్ గురించి నాతో పాటు సువర్చల ఉన్నారు. తను కూడా ఇవాళ పోస్ట్ డీటెయిల్స్ చెప్తారండి. సో బిజినెస్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్లో బేసికల్గా గురుకుల పోస్ట్లో మనకి ఎలాంటి క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉంటాయంటే మల్టిపుల్ చాయిస్ క్వశ్చన్స్ కానీ, అసర్షన్ రీజనింగ్ క్వశ్చన్స్ కానీ, లేదంటే మనకి మ్యాచ్ ది ఫాలోయింగ్ క్వశ్చన్స్, మరియు మనకి ఇంకా వేరే క్వశ్చన్స్ ఎలాంటివి ఉంటాయంటే సీక్వెన్స్ ఆర్డర్లో క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉంటాయండి. మొత్తం మనకి 13 యూనిట్లు ఉన్నాయి. సో వీ హ్యావ్ గాట్ టోటల్ 13 యూనిట్స్ ఇన్ ద కంటెంట్. సో అవుట్ ఆఫ్ విచ్ 8 are theory based questions and 5 are practical subjects. So please focus on content, concepts. We will discuss each unit elaborately now. So first chapter Suvarchala will take over.
Hello, good afternoon. Today the unit 1 we are going to talk about management. In management I am going to discuss about what is the meaning, role, importance, functions, and also the types of management, and also the various functions of management like planning, organizing. Then we are going to discuss about communication and also leadership theories. So here when you talk about the role of management, what does management actually means? Management is the art of getting things done. So when you talk about the functions of management, there are various functions like planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. So planning function talks about what you want to do in advance. So you have to plan in advance what we want to do in an organization. So here organizing talks about who's reporting to what responsibilities everybody has, and who delegates the authority, who has to work with the superiors, who is working with the subordinates. So everything has to be clearly defined. Then comes in terms of staffing, and then in terms of hiring of the employees, and then directing, guiding of the employees. Then we also talk about the advising, communicating of to the employees, and then if any problems are there, how do we verify and check. So here we are, I'm going to address few questions. For the first question is the pure science principles are rigid, whereas management principles are relatively flexible. So here the flexibility is because management is an art and a science. So here based on the situations you have to change your style of management as well. So as I said, planning is deciding in advance what we want to do, and organizing is a function which talks about all the activities and resources which are required, who will do a particular task, where will it be done, and all the areas will be concentrated in organizing. Every subordinate will receive orders and they are accountable to one person. We call that concept of centralization. If the orders or if the authority is distributed amongst various employees, we call them as decentralization. So here only one person is accountable for all the decisions. We call it as centralization. So there are various leadership styles. We have trait theory, we have a behavioral theory, we have a contingency theory. So I'm going to discuss in terms of the trait theory, which concentrates more on the personality of the individual. And we also have behavioral theories where it concentrates on the two kinds of behaviors which are very important in any organization. So the leader should exhibit either a task-oriented behavior or a relationship-oriented behavior. So the task-oriented behavior, we call it as, according to the Ohio studies, they did initiating structure is the word we use, and the relationship behavior we call it as the consideration. So here the third kind of a leadership style we have is what we call it as the contingency leadership style. That is, we just don't have to have a leader with only task oriented behavior, or we should not have the leader only with the relationship behavior. The behavior starts to change and based on the situation. So that style is what we call it as a contingency leadership behavior. So the unit 2 we are going to concentrate on the organizational behavior. Here I am going to deal with what is the concept of organizational behavior, the concept of what is perception, what is an attitude, what do you mean by interpersonal relationships, which we talk in terms of group dynamics and team building, and the very important aspect in any company is the culture of the company. if you take the culture of Apple, right now it's more of a participative leadership culture. So here every company has its own culture, and how do you adopt to the culture of the company is very, very important. So I'm going to discuss about how do you manage change, and if there are any conflicts which are happening, you also need to manage your conflicts, resolve the conflicts. There are various conflict resolution strategies, such as either you try to avoid the conflict or you accommodate in terms of any conflicts which are happening. Is there any kind of a compromise which you want to do? So there are various resolution styles one need to look about. So stress management, as everybody in our organizations, to a certain extent we endure stress. So how do you endure stress in the company? There is a way, to a certain extent the stress is all right, in the sense we call it as eustress, which will help us to push our potential to the higher level. But there are certain levels where the stress levels people endure is too negative in nature, that leads to a decline in the performance. So if the faculty members who are preparing for the various sessions, if they go about this, these concepts would really help them to achieve their particular result as well. So here organizational behavior is interdisciplinary approach, it is a humanistic approach, and it is a total systems approach. So here the opinion of a person, the emotional feelings of the person, the beliefs of the person should be taken into consideration. In an organization, both employer and employee should try to talk to each other, address each other, and understand each other's personality in order to have an effective functioning in the company. We also talk about the culture, like I discussed before, which talks about the values, beliefs. Just like the culture we have in our own house, everybody has a different culture. Country has a culture. The global we have different cultures. Similar to it, in an organization, the values, the beliefs, the customs, and the objects of the company is defined as a culture, and that is a very important aspect, and that culture should align with the culture of your employees as well. So here unit 3 will be taken over by Mr. MVS Mahendra sir. Over to you, sir.
In unit 3 we are going to have managerial economics. We are going to focus on demand function. What is the demand function, what is the supply function, and you also focus on production concepts. You should know about the market structures, different types of market structures that we are going to have, like monopoly, monopolistic, oligopoly, perfect competition. Go through all the characteristics of each market and the pricing decisions in case of the markets. And in the last, we are going to have about the break-even point, what is break-even point, and how we are going to measure the break-even point. Focus on fundamental concepts, like in case of elasticity demand, go through all the concepts like what is price elasticity, what is unitary elastic, then perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic, then what are the oligopoly, what are the characteristics of a oligopoly market, what is break-even point. In case of break-even point, you may get small numerical problems, like they may give fixed cost and PV ratio, and they'll ask you to calculate the break-even point. So try to do some numerical problems in case of break-even analysis. So let us see what sort of questions that you are going to get in case of economics. If the price of the good is above the equilibrium price, then so you can see there is a surplus. See, there will be a slight change from one answer to other answer. Please focus, read the question carefully, and answers also. Here and there may be a slight change in the word. You may be in a tension, you may be filling the answer. So I request all the people who are appearing for the test, so please go through the question and answer carefully. Or it may be, say for example, the next question, if you are going to see it, is with regarding to the what type of goods it is, or and it is maybe with regarding to the what type of elasticity that you are going to have. See if the price elasticity of demand is 0.5, then the demand for the good is, we can say it is elastic. How it is elastic? Anything which is more than 0, it is said to be elastic. So please go through it. It has been given inelastic, or marginal cost is defined as. How do we define marginal cost? Go through the definitions of what is fixed cost, what is marginal cost, then what is variable cost. So marginal cost is the cost which is incurred to produce one more extra unit of an output. There you can see answer, it has been given as input and output, then it is ratio of total cost to our total output, ratio of total cost to total input. Focus on the answer, it is change in the output of 1 unit of output will reduce the change in the cost. So the next unit with regarding to the business environment, Suvarchala will take over.
Thank you so much, sir. In this unit of business environment, I am going to discuss about the meaning. What do you mean by the internal and external environment? I'll also talk about what is the LPG, which is a very important component, and I request all the people who are planning to write the test to go through this LPG concept very carefully. And what do you mean by foreign trade, and what is the EXIM policy? And please have a very clear understanding about the various foreign capital and collaborations which are happening globally, which leads to the better investments in our country, and discuss about the monetary and also the fiscal policies in terms of the quantitative and also the tax exemptions and all has to be looked about in terms of your business environment concept. So also please go through the free trade and also protectionism in terms of are there any barriers with respect to the trade, or is there any no barriers with respect to the trade. If there are barriers in terms of trade between the countries, we call it as protectionism, and if there are no barriers, we call it as a free trade. So usually when we have barriers, it will lead to more of a domestic market would try to you try to enhance or increase the domestic market. And we also discuss and it's very important for all of us to go through the concept of cartelization and what is the role of World Trade Organization in terms of the total business environment. So all these concepts, please go through this when we actually go for your preparation. So whenever we talk about business environment, it has two important elements, that is external environment and also we have the internal environment. So here whenever we talk about internal environment, it talks about the suppliers, customers and all of them who are associated with our own organization. External environment is outside the organization. We use a small clue called as step in, that is the social, technological, economic, political, international and national natural kind of an environment. So both the environments need to be looked about in terms of your internal and external. So when we talk about the micro environment, as I said, the customers, suppliers and competitors, lot of emphasis should be looked about this concept also. And please go through the concept of liberalization. As I said, the process of the government removing the limits or impediments is known as liberalization, and how it is useful, are there any barriers and challenges for this liberalization also. Please go through these concepts and that would help you to get a good score as well. So here another area which I am going to talk about or we have to focus on is international trade policy, and here both the import restrictions from other nations are being eased and also export restrictions to foreign nations are also being eased. So that is the main agenda of this particular international trade policy. So both the policies, please go through the same in terms of the amendments which happened post 1991. And so here the foreign direct investment also, how it is beneficial to India if you take into consideration. So here it will help us to basically, there is a inflow, or we call it as the flow of foreign currency into our country and introduction of contemporary technologies into our country. It also talks about how the contributes to the country's managerial capabilities. So you please go through the foreign direct investments also in India and what are the advantages and how it is beneficial to our country as well. So as I said, fiscal policy and monetary policy, please go through both the components, and as I said, it concentrates on two areas. One is the tax policy of the government, second is the spending policy of the government. So these concepts please go through so that you will be able to answer properly in your examination. Then we have a concept of cartel, which is an association of manufacturers or producers who tries to limit the competition or to impose restrictions on trade or business. Cartelization, this is according to the Competition Act of 2002, is a very, very important concept, and I request all the viewers to go through this concept as well. So unit 5 is a very important unit which concentrates on the human resource management in the paper 2 of business administration. So here we are going to concentrate on what is human resource management. Please go through the difference between HRM and HRD. HRM is a holistic way we concentrate on in terms of from the time the employee enters into the company to the time employee exits from the company. How do you procure the employee? How do you develop the employee? How do you compensate the employee? How do you maintain the employee, and how do you take care of the employees? So here all the areas has to be looked about. Development is concentrating on increasing the skills, abilities, and also the knowledge of the employees. We are going to also discuss about HRP. What is HRP? It concentrates on the number of people to be hired in the company. The number of people, suppose you need 10 people to be hired in the company. So based on your job analysis, that is with respect to your the duties and responsibilities and the type of people you want to hire in the company, you decide on the vacancies as well, and it's a forecasting technique which we decide based on your description and specification also. So here then we talk about the recruitment. How do you attract people to your organization? How do you make them apply for your company? And then by providing advertisements or campus placements or internal job posting or through referrals, how do you want to attract your employee or candidates into your organization? We also are very, very important. There's a very significant difference between recruitment and selection, and I request the viewers to have a clear understanding. Selection is choosing the best candidate amongst the pool of applicants we received in recruitment process. So that differentiation we should be very clear in when we attempt this paper. So training and development is also, the difference is very important. Training concentrates on enhancing the technical skills of an employee, but when you're talking about the behavioral skills or for a higher manager, problem solving, non-technical skills like decision making, soft skills, then we use the concept of development. And job evaluation concentrates on how do you determine a pay structure, how do you determine who's going to get what kind of a compensation. So that is what we call as job evaluation. Appraising the employees, evaluating the performance of the employee using various appraisal techniques, and also we have various amazing motivational theories which we are actually using it in our real life situations, both the process theories and content theories. Content theory is you have a need, and because of that need, how do you get motivated to perform a job, and if you are how does the motivation works actually is what we call it as a process theory. And we are going to also please go through the concept of compensation, like what is an components of compensation, HRA, DA, etc. Also please concentrate on the fringe benefits and also the incentives, which are very important component of a compensation. So we'll quickly go through HRM definition, which talks about the how do you try to procure, develop and compensate your human resources. And then induction, if a new employee enters into the organization, how the process of familiarizing the employee with the company's culture is what we call it as induction or orientation. Imparting the skills, especially the technical skills, we talk in terms of training. And then trying to determine the pay structure, finding out the difference between one job over the other, we call it as the job evaluation. And collective information about the job, we call it as job. And please go through these concepts. They are very, very important concepts. And the very, very important concept of performance appraisal is 360-degree appraisal. If a person is appraising, if only one person is appraising, there is a chance of bias or a judgment. But if a person is being assessed by an employee, is assessed by their manager, by their subordinate, by their by themselves, and also by the peer or customer or client, then you get a 360-degree kind of an appraisal. It's more objective in nature rather than one person appraising a person. So here the motivation theories, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This comprises of the basic need is basically the physiological, then comes your security needs, social needs, esteem needs, and then comes your self-actualization. So please go through. This is a very important concept. Like I said, here A, D, C, B. So here we have physiological needs, then we have safety needs, then we have social or belongingness needs, and then we have esteem needs, and then we have self-actualization needs. And then please go through the Herzberg two-factor theory and all the theories. That is what I talked about in both process theories and also content theories. Herzberg two-factor theory, Aldous ERG theory, all these theories, and Porter and Lawler model in process theories, equity model in Adams equity model in process theories. Please go through, because these are very, very important concepts in the subject of human resource management. So the next unit which I am going to discuss about is what we call it as strategic management. It's the crux and the backbone of any company, and because if you don't have a long-term vision in a company, then your organization cannot survive or thrive. So here we are going to discuss about what is the meaning, what is the importance of strategic management. There's a very amazing model which is given by McKinsey. It is called as 7S framework, then corporate governance, and then there is a total process of strategic management, starting with the strategy for strategy formulation, strategy analysis formulation, to the final step of strategy implementation as well. So, and very important concept is a strategic alliance, when there is a when companies are coming together in order to reach the objective of the economy as well. So strategy is always a long term in nature. Strategy will start from the vision statement, that is the future position of the company, what the company wants to achieve. From there onwards, the total strategy formulation will start. And strategy will not just concentrating what is happening in the outside external environment, like their opportunities and threats, in order to define or design a long-term plan, but we need to also understand our own internal strengths and weaknesses, so that we map it properly and try to come up with a better kind of a plan or a strategy, so that you can your company can reach the vision it has formulated. McKinsey 7S framework is a very, very important topic. I request the viewers to go through this concept. It concentrates on 7S, which comprises of shared values, structure, systems, styles, strategies, staff and skills. So all these 7S need to be concentrated on in order to analyze the organization and improve the effectiveness. So here I am going to next concentrate on marketing management. This marketing management, I request all the people to go through in terms of the concepts of what is a market, what is a marketing, what do you mean by marketing environment. Just like our business environment, we have internal marketing environment, we also have external marketing environment. The marketing mix is a very, very important topic, which comprises of what is a product, what is a price, what is place, what do you mean by promotion, and various strategies which are associated with the same. Then we have consumer behavior, what is the buying behavior of a person, consumer consumption pattern of a person. So please go through the areas as well. Market segmentation and target market, and also the position. How do you want to position your product so that you get better kind of customers, and your retention of customers also is going to be very high. So branding. And then product life cycle is a very important concept. We talk about introduction, then we talk about the growth, maturity level, and also the decline stage. Then promotion mix, how do you promote your product, what are your various components. As I said, any product, any market, you try to try to look about in terms of either the enhancement of your product or delivery of a service. So service marketing is a very important concept. The whole world is now very much into the services, and service marketing plays a very, very important role. And how do you do a market research? If there is a problem or there is an unrealized opportunity, how do you collect the data? How do you basically analyze the data? How do you bring about some findings and conclusion? And how do you make sure that you are able to generalize it so that you can try to solve your problem, or an opportunity which is not realized yet, how do you realize that opportunity? opportunity. There are digital marketing is an amazing trend which is happening right now. The social media marketing, like there's lot of trends in terms of a new kind of innovative areas happening in market. Especially I would also like to highlight a concept of marketing analytics, which is a new trend right now. How you're calculating the churn data, marketing churn and all, so that you can retain your customers, and there's lot of the customer loyalty and the brand loyalty is going to be enhanced. So I'm also there are some components. What is a market? A place where buying and selling activities is called as a market. Segmentation is how do you divide the market into various homogeneous groups, is what we call it as segmentation. And what is basically here, if you talk about market mix, as I said, it is a product, price, place and promotion. So we have here product, we also have price, we also have a place to distribute our product, but target market is not the element of marketing mix. So we need to identify, first you know the concept, please go through the questions carefully, whether they are asking it's not an element or it's an element. Please go through and then choose your answers accordingly. So here, as I said, product life cycle, please concentrate on the introduction stage, growth stage, maturity stage and also decline stage. So here the question was, if the demand goes up, the size of the market expands, obviously the sales and profits also increase. Now that stage we call it as the growth stage. So promotion mix, there are 4 important elements. One is your sales promotion, personal selling, advertising and also the public relations. So these are the 4 important elements of promotion mix. And as I said, service marketing, the very important component of service marketing is intangibility. That is, you cannot touch the product. Service is something which you experience it. So this is something, please go through this concept and also the various characteristics of various services. As I said, your marketing research not only will help in identification of the right problem, but also will help you to solve that particular problem. So please, these are some of the important areas. I request all the viewers to go through this so that you will be able to perform well in your assessments. So handing it over to Mahendra sir, please.
Thank you, Suvarchala. Now let us see with regarding to the numerical papers. So first we are going to have, I think, operations management. So what are the contents that you are going to have in case of operations management? So please go through the different types of layouts. What are the factors that is influencing the different types of layouts? And you also go through with regarding to the inventory levels. And in case of your production and operations management, you will be having the routing, what is assembly, what is work, what is job design. Then you also should go through with regarding to the production and PERT and CPM, then planning and control process, what is business process reengineering, quality assurance, supply chain management concepts. You will be having with regarding to, say for example, the questions may be asked with regarding to the definitions of what is critical path method. So critical path method helps in designing. So please go through the definitions with regarding to what is PERT, what is CPM, then what is routing, what is job costing, what is batch processing. Then you may be having with regarding to the continuous production. They may give examples. Say for example, batch processing is applied in which industry, or which products will be taken into consideration, or it may be with regarding to the job process. And if with regarding to the location, they may be asking what are the various factors that influence for a industry be located at a particular area. Say for example, we can find most of the cement industries which will be located in the area where limestone is available. So you should be strong in case of fundamentals. Or they may be asking a with regarding to the multiple match the following question. Match the following question is like PERT, CPM, routing, assembly. Like this, they may be asking you the questions. One side they may give the concept, and the other side they may be giving the definition with regarding to the various terms. So we will see with regarding to the questions that are there in case of your production, that is operations management, production and operations management. So if you are going to have the questions with regarding to the routing, what is routing, they may ask the question with regarding to what is routing and how, in which line it will be useful. All these are the various concepts that you are going to have in case of your production management. Then next we are going to have the questions with regarding to the next we will see with regarding to the operations management, or it may be with regarding to the quantitative techniques. Quantitative techniques, what are the concepts that you are going to have in case of your quantitative techniques? So, in case of quantitative techniques, we are going to have the basic foundations with regarding to the mean, median, mode. They may be giving with regarding to the quantitative techniques. See here, central tendency, dispersion, data collection, probability distribution concepts, distribution methods, testing of hypothesis. Then they will be asking about chi-square and ANOVA, business forecasting methods, correlation and regression, time series analysis, and report writing. Now, first you should be perfect for what purpose mean will be used, median will be used, and mode will be used, and what are the different types of dispersion that you are going to have, and what is primary data and what is secondary data. You should be able to see, they will be seeing what are the methods through which you can collect the data through for primary sources. Say for example, it may be a questionnaire method, it may be interview method, or it may be any other method which you are going to have in case of your data collection, or it may be the probability distributions. I request all the people who are aspiring to get into the Gurukula, please focus on different types of probability distributions that you are going to have, like what is binomial distribution. In case of binomial distribution, you are going to have like it is a dichotomous distribution, or it is a continuous distribution, what type of distribution it is, or you should go what is Poisson distribution, what is the difference between a normal distribution and a Poisson distribution, what is a binomial distribution and what is a Poisson distribution. And there may be some small numerical problems. Say for example, they may be giving the mean and they may be giving some values. You need to find out what is the mean of this, or say for example, n will be given, p will be given, they may ask you to find out q, or they will give n, p, they will ask you to find the mean, they may give the n, p, q, and they may ask you to find the variance. And you also should focus what is chi-square, for what purpose chi-square will be used, what is ANOVA, what is F-test, and what is the formula in case of F-test, and what is regression analysis, what is the difference between regression analysis and correlation. These are the base. What is the expected profit? Now you need to know that what is the expected profit. Now you need to know that what is the formula for expected profit. Expected profit is with regarding to the xi into pi. Xi is the variable that you are going to consider, pi is the probability. So if you see xi is 3000 into 0.4, 1200, and loss is 1000 into 0.6, it is minus 600. So 1200 minus 600 is 600 is your answer. So here they are testing you whether you are able to apply the concepts that you have learnt. So here with regarding to the expectation of return that you are going to have, or it is the expected sales value that you are going to get, or expected profit that you are going to have. Then you see one more example with regarding to the regression equation. In case of regression equation, you know that regression equation y is equal to a plus bx, where y is said to be a dependent variable and x is said to be a independent variable. They may give you the value of a and the value of b and x value. They may ask you to find out what is the value of b. See here, if a is equal to 4, b is equal to 2 for a particular line, and you are going to have what the independent variable is 2. So if you see here, y is equal to a plus bx, and your independent variable is 2, 2 into 2 is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8. So you are going to have 8 as the answer. Please, you should be able to know what is an independent variable, what is a dependent variable, and the equation, that is y is equal to a plus bx. Then they may ask you the correlation. They may ask you what is the correlation, or say the minus 1 to plus 1. What does minus 1 refers to? What is plus 1 refers to? So minus 1 is, it is perfect negative correlation, plus 1 is perfect positive correlation. So like this you are going to have small numerical problems in case of your quantitative techniques. I suggest all of you to kindly focus on the quantitative techniques, solving small numerical problems. Next we are going to have with regarding to the topic is operations research. So in case of operations research, you will be having linear programming, transportation problem, assignment problem, then you will be having with regarding to the inventory control methods, queuing method, decision tree, and game theory and simulations. So what I suggest is, please go through what is a graphical method, what is a feasible region, what is constraint. Then we are going to have with regarding to transportation model, try to go with regarding to what is LCM model or Vogel's approximation method, for what purpose you are going to use, when it will be used. Then say for example, when we are going to use the dummy variables in case of transportation problem or assignment problems, when we are going to use the dummy variables, you should be able to know. In case of inventory methods, try to focus on EOQ and other aspects as far as the inventory methods are concerned. So in case of and also please go through with regarding to the basic definitions of each and every aspect, and say for example, what is the decision theory, what is the game theory, or how simulation will take place. Now you may not expect numerical problems, big numerical problems, they may be giving application problems oriented only. Let us see with regarding to the objective type questions, how the questions will be in case of your operations research. It may be like one example, say for example, here if you take into consideration, in a graphical representation the bounded region is known as feasible solution. So this is a simple, then you are going to have the next one, it is with regarding to the next one. Say for example, a company uses with regarding to the widgets 15,000, now it is a EOQ model. In case of your EOQ model, the formulas you should be able to know. It is under root 2 into A into O divided by C, where A is said to be the annual demand, O is said to be the ordering cost, and C is said to be the carrying cost. So you should work out immediately, and you should be able to apply. So here if you see, annual demand is 15,000 units, ordering cost is 60 rupees per order, and carrying cost is 30% of the cost, 30% of 6 rupees will be 1 rupee 80 paisa. So it is 2 into 15,000 into 60 divided by 1.8 under root. If you solve this, you are going to get 1000 kgs. So you may get either theoretical questions based upon the concepts, or it may be a small numerical problem where you have to apply the formula and get the answer. Next topic that you are going to have is financial, cost and management accounting. All the three types of accountings you are going to focus here. So what I suggest is, I request you to please go through the fundamentals like accounting concepts. Please know what are the different accounting concepts that you are going to have. Like you have money measurement concept, business entity concept, going concern concept, then you are going to have dual aspect concept, then you are going to have conventions. In case of conventions, please go through with regarding to the what is convention of materiality, convention of consistency, convention of conservatism, and convention of full disclosure. Now you should be able to focus on what is a concept and what is a convention. Then you also have accounting standards. I suggest you to please make a list of all the accounting standards and go through it every alternate day, so that there may be some questions relating to accounting standards. It may be a multiple choice question relating to match the following. They may give accounting standard, and to which one it is going to pertain, they may ask you, because in most of the competitive exams you will be having questions relating to multiple choice questions only, but that too you may be having assertion reasoning, or it may be with regarding to the match the following, or it may be with regarding to the sequencing. Then you should also know with regarding to the standard cost. Now in case of standard cost, again you may be having questions relating to the variance analysis. Focus on different types of variances, like what is a material cost variance, labor cost variance, then you may be having overhead cost variance and sales variances. Then they may be asking, say for example, they may give you with regarding to a small numerical example, like they may give material cost, they may give with the quantity, and they may ask you with regarding to either the calculate price variance, or they may be asking you to usage variance. Then say for example, sometimes the question may be with regarding to the labor variances, idle time variance, they may give idle time and they will ask you to find out what is the idle time variance. Remember, idle time variance always will be unfavorable because it is a negative value that you are going to have. So idle time variance will be a negative value. Then there may be questions with regarding to the CVP analysis, that is cost volume profit analysis. In case of cost volume profit analysis, again we are going to have the break even analysis, or the questions may be with buy or make decisions, or it may be with regarding to the sales mix. Now, the question may be given to you, say for example, in case of your make or buy decision, they may be giving you fixed cost, variable cost and the purchase price of a product from the market, and you have to compare whether the cost of purchase is less or the cost of buying is less, and you have to give the decision. They may be asking the small numerical problems. I suggest you to go through with regarding to the various accounting concepts. Like say for example, they say what is money measure, they may not give you the money measurement concept. They will say say for example, the question may be like this: in a company there was a fight between the manager and the subordinate. This cannot be recorded in the books of accounts as per which concept. So, you may say that it is because of the money and measurement concept, because in case of money measurement concept, only the transactions which can be measured in terms of money or money's worth should be recorded in the books of accounts. So, be clear what it is. Now, say for example, in case of convention of conservatism, in case of convention of conservatism, it is with regarding to the, that is, anticipate all possible losses but not profits. Now, they may be given, can we make a provision for creditors? Provisions for creditors is made by the company, which concept it is, convention it is not following. So, you should be able to identify, because we can anticipate only losses but not profits as per convention of conservatism is concerned. So, in this unit you have got all the three concepts, accounting subjects like financial accounting, cost accounting and management accounting. The next subject that you are going to have is your financial management. Now, in case of financial management, I request you to make the what content you are going to have. Like say for example, in case of financial management, we have three major functions. One is investment function, one is finance function and the other one is dividend function. In case of investment function, you have short term investment and long term investment. As far as the long term investment is concerned, we have capital budgeting decisions. So, here focus on what is capital budgeting and what are the different methods that you are going to have in case of capital budgeting. In case of capital budgeting, we have two methods, one is traditional methods and modern methods. Traditional methods, payback period method and average rate of return method, and modern methods we are going to have net present value method, profitability index method and you are going to have IRR method. They may ask you the definition, like what is net present value. Net present value is the difference between the sum of present value of cash inflows and cash outflows. What is profitability index? Profitability index is the ratio between net present cash inflows and cash outflows, present value of cash inflows and cash outflows. Now, there may be numerical problems. Say for example, the profitability index of a company is 1.7, the cash outflows are 1 lakh. What are the cash inflows? Can we find out? Yes, it is possible. It is like profitability index is equal to sum of present value of cash inflows divided by cash outflows, which is equal to 1.7. Cash outflows is given as 1 lakh. So, our present value of cash inflows will be 1 lakh into 1.7, 1,70,000. Like this, there may be numerical problems. Then you may be having with regarding to the dividend theories, there are two schools of thought. Try to focus on what it is. Like we have a relevant school of thought and irrelevant school of thought. In case of irrelevant school of thought, it says there is no relationship between the dividend payout ratio and the value of the firm, and the eminent person theory, that is Modigliani and Miller, has given with regarding to the irrelevant school of thought, where he says that there is no relationship between the dividend payout ratio and the value of the firm. Whereas we have another school of thought which says with regarding to the payment of dividend and price of the share, that is relevant school of thought. In case of relevant school of thought, you have got Gordon's model and Walter's model. Now, in case of Gordon says, Gordon, according to Gordon, if you take into consideration, there are three types of firms. One is a growth firm, one is a normal firm and the other one is declining firm. If R is greater than K, then we say it is a growth firm, that is rate of return is greater than cost of capital, we say it is a growth firm, where the optimum dividend payout ratio is 0%. R is equal to K, where it is a normal firm, where we say that optimum dividend payout ratio is indifferent. R is less than K, it is said to be a declining firm, and in case of declining firm, the optimum dividend payout ratio is 100%. So, they may be asking you some numerical problem and they will ask if r is greater than k, according to what happens. Let us see in case of questions pattern that you are going to have. I suggest you to please make use of mind maps. Say for example, in case of capital budgeting, draw capital budgeting. What are the different techniques that you are going to have, like traditional technique and modern technique? Then you are going to write with regarding to the traditional technique what are the different methods. Let us see the sample questions in case of financial management. So I said there may be small numerical problems. A project costs 1 lakh and it is going to generate 20,000 each year for 8 years. What is the payback period? Now you should be able to know what is the formula for the payback period. The formula for the payback period is cash outflow divided by average cash inflows. So here the cash outflow is 1 lakh divided by average cash inflows is 20,000. 1 lakh divided by 20,000, it is 5 years. Similarly, if you see with regarding to the leverages, it is a question relating to the leverages. Now dash is the employment of an asset. You should be thorough with what is leverage. So leverage, again we have got three types of leverages. One is financial leverage, operating leverage and the combined leverage. So if you go through the definition here, it says employment of a source of finance or an asset where it involves fixed cost or which generates a fixed interest, it is said to be a leverage. Then you should also know with regarding to what is profit maximization, what is wealth maximization, what are the difficulties of a profit maximization or what are the drawbacks of a profit maximization. I will show one more question with relating to the how the question can be in case of dividend theories. So they have given the question with regarding to the dividend theories. What is, say for example, they have given r is greater than k. What happens? So if r is greater than k, the price of the share will increase with the decrease in the dividend payout ratio. Now here if you see the question, it is what is the, which variable is not known in IRR. In case of IRR, we should know the cash inflows, life of the project should be given, initial cash flows will be given to you, but discount rate will not be given to you because you have to estimate the discount rate. In case of IRR, we define IRR as the rate at which the present value of cash inflows are equal to cash outflows. Then next see the question with regarding to the Walter's model, how it has been given. Under Walter model, if rate of return is greater than cost of capital. So if rate of return is greater than cost of capital, immediately in your mind it should give the result that r is greater than k. R is greater than k, that means it is said to be a growth firm, and in case of a growth firm, the optimum dividend payout ratio is 0%. See the answer, price per share increases as the dividend payout ratio decreases. If you see the first one, it is price increases as the dividend payout ratio increases. So whereas in case of Walter's model, if r is greater than k, it is said to be a growth firm, and in case of growth firm, it should be a optimum dividend payout ratio should be 0%. So try to focus on what are the objectives of financial management. There are two main objectives of financial management. One is with regarding to the profit maximization and the other one is wealth maximization. Then we have last unit, that is with regarding to the computers information technology, which Suvarchala will be taking up.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we are going to focus on the last unit of this particular paper, that is information technology for managers. So we are talking about business administration. So as a matter of fact, as an employee in a company or as an employer in a company, everybody should be aware of the various components of computers. So we're going to, you have to please prepare on hardware, software, what is an operating system, what are the functions and types of database management system, network and types of network topologies we have, and management information system, and software development life cycle, which is a very, very important component, and not the least the data analytics. So we request all the viewers to kindly go through these concepts. So here when you talk about hardware, so please try to understand various components of hardware, and which of the following instructs the computer hardware what to do and how to do it. So here definitely we are going to discuss with respect to the software component here, because the software will instruct the hardware what to do and how to do it. So when we talk about the physical parts of the computer, that is exactly what we call it as a hardware. Software will instruct the hardware, so the output will be achieved. So we talk about the operating system. What is an operating system? It enables the programmer to draw a flow chart. It acts as a layer, user-friendly interface between both the components, and it links a program with subroutine it references. So all these three are very, very important areas of operating systems. Whenever we talk about networks, it's very important to please go through the various topologies, or nothing but the types of networks. Here we have a mesh network, we have a star network, we have a bus network, we have a ring network. So if you see this question, the topology which requires a central controller or a hub, it is called as a star kind of a network. So database management system is a very, very important topic, because unless and until you collect the data, you cannot try to solve a problem or realize an opportunity. So the data has to be managed thoroughly. So here data independence and centralized control of data is done through database management system, and we have amazing database management administrators who takes this role in the company. And here we also have management information system. This basically is a system for obtaining, processing and delivering information in support of the business operations and management of the organization. So SDLC and all the steps of SDLC, we request the viewers to go through it, which is called a software development life cycle, which comprises of preliminary investigation, requirement analysis, design, testing and implementation of that particular process. So we request all of you to please be very thorough with the concept of SDLC. So as a Mahendra sir?
Yeah, see, final suggestions to all the aspirants who are going to prepare for Gurukula. It's my suggestion, it's our suggestion that we are going to give. Please make a list like this, like say for example Maslow's theory, who has given, then what with regarding the Michelitz, who has given, then who is the father of scientific management, who has given the 14 principles. Make a list so that it will be a ready reckoner. Similarly, you try to make a list of all the accounting standards. Write down all the formulas with regarding to the problematic areas, and try to use mind maps, which will be very useful for you as ready reckoners when you are preparing for your exam. So please try to make the charts, that is with regarding to the mind maps, or lists in case of your various people, like who is the father of computers or who is father of with regarding to the scientific management, all this list, who has given let's say it's a Maslow's theory, or it may be a two-factor theory, or it may be with regarding to various types of theories that you are going to have. Write down all the formulas, write down all the basic definitions, so that it will be helpful for you. So I think you can prepare well. All the best for your exam.
All the best once again, and we want to wish from our side good luck, and I'm sure that you're going to pass in the flying colors. All the best once again. Thank you.
Thank you.